Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi Miss, I am Syarifah Hayatul Fitri from TBIC. And my registration number is 21 30 10 40 72. In this video, I wanted to give my final project to you in our course Listening for Argumentative Text. And here I will analyze debate video from YouTube. And the motion of this debate is this house believe that a more entangled world is a more peaceful world. Peaceful world. So before we come to my how I can analyze this debate depends on what we have already learned in classroom. Please let me present the video of debate so we can enjoy it and understand it together. Okay, let's see the first speaker of affirmative team.
Scholars, welcome back from lunch. Did everyone have something to eat?
Scholars, we are gathered here now for the final debate of the junior division here in Barcelona. It is known as a debate showcase. It is not a debate among two top teams, but rather a chance to showcase the tremendous achievement, the tremendous diversity of achievement in debate within this community.
Now, scholars, you will be somewhat familiar with the debate showcase from your regional rounds, where we called up 8 different scholars who represented 8 different schools to form 2 new teams of 4. It will be somewhat similar today, but instead of just calling up 8 scholars from 8 different schools at this most diverse global round ever, we will be calling up 8 scholars who represent 8 different countries and span, I believe, 4 different continents.
Indeed.
And scholars, we know that our 8 speakers on stage are not the only top speakers, are not the only judge-nominated speakers here with us in this room of over 1,000 scholars. And that is why, just like at your regional rounds, you will not have 1 judge, you will not have 2, but you will have a panel of judges made up of many other scholars who also have done very well in their debates.
And the truth is, no matter how many scholars we call up, 8 on stage, 15 in the panel, there is no way we can honor here today every single great speaker in a crowd of over 1,000 junior division scholars who have come this far. If your name is not called, it is not because you are not a great debater. It is because there are only so many spaces in the debate showcase. So rather than focus on who is here and who is not, we ask that we join in a conversation that extends beyond the debate. Once these scholars are done debating, once the panel has left to their secret facility somewhere outside here, probably above water, we will open the floor to your contributions, to your ideas, to your part in this conversation.
Now, scholars, the speakers who will be coming up here are sitting out there right now. It could perhaps even be you. Who is excited and wants to be called up for the debate showcase?
Now, who is nervous and does not want to be called up to the debate showcase?
Who thinks they might stand up and run out of the room if their name is called up?
Who is excited hoping their teammate will be called up?
You guys either have a lot of confidence in your teammates or want them to be very nervous.
We may have a debate, we may not. Let's see how this goes.
Find out.
So, scholars, what we will do now, we will call up the speakers who will represent the affirmative and negative teams. If you are one of those scholars, we ask you to please bring up anything that you would take to a debate, including something to research with, write with. Of course, bring your alpacas. We will begin with the affirmative team.
The affirmative team should take their seats at the table with, which table should it be?
I think it's only right that they take the table with the pineapple because, yes, pineapple pizza is an amazing thing.
Pineapple is affirmative.
36% of the scholars agree with you.
Our first affirmative team member comes to us from the country that is the world's largest democracy, from India, from Strawberry Fields High School, it's Saisha Swani.
Our next speaker on the affirmative team comes to us from Korea, from North London Collegiate School, Jeju. It is Yi Ji Hwang.
Our next affirmative team member, coming from Switzerland, from GEMS World Academy, Switzerland, please welcome Staff Schulman.
And our fourth and final affirmative speaker joins us from the United Arab Emirates, from pristine private school, Michael Angelo Katakutan.
And scholars, as the affirmative team members make their way up to their table, can we give all of the affirmative team a huge round of applause? And next, we will find out who they will be debating against. The first member of the negative team comes to us from Kazakhstan, from Haileybury, Astana. It's Anya Boranbey.
Our next speaker on the negative team comes to us from Mozambique, from Maputo International School. It is Anderson Domingos.
And our next affirmative speaker comes from Indonesia, from National High Jakarta School. Please welcome Nadia Annabelle Lumi.
And our fourth negative speaker, joining us at the table that does not have a pineapple on it. This speaker is from Kenya, from Brook House School, Sean Matu Thuri.
Scholars, give it up for your negative team.
And next, scholars, we will be calling out the panel of judges who have reserved VIP seating right here in the front row. If you are a panelist, please make your way to the front. Our first panelist is Nikolai Marev,
Followed by Iza Zapnik.
and next, Zainab Poyanli.
Alize Wasim.
Our next panelist is Kaisara Yazin.
And Joseph Inati.
And next, Jessica Yu.
And Gehua Wen.
Please welcome Selena Shu.
And Ramzi Metanes.
And Risa Umezaki.
Along with Despoina Petro.
Please welcome Soraya Mwangi.
And Adya Mishra.
And our final panelist is Arnav Kedya. Scholars, put your hands together for our panel of judges. Now, scholars, we have an affirmative team, we have a negative team, we have a panel of distinguished judges, and we have an audience. What are we missing?
Half the negative team.
What else are we missing for this debate to be able to start?
The motion for today's Junior Debate Showcase at this Barcelona Global Round resolved that a more entangled world is a more peaceful world.
Scholars on stage, you have 15 minutes to prepare.
Scholars in the audience, remember, after the speakers on the stage have finished, we will then be looking to you for your ideas. So as this 15 minutes begins for the speakers on stage, let the discussions also begin amongst the audience members. Think about how you would perhaps contribute to a discussion about this topic.
Good afternoon, scholars. We are about to start our Barcelona Global Round Debate Showcase. I'm sure you guys can all remember how nervous you felt during your debates. So I'm sure you can only imagine how these 8 lovely scholars might be feeling right now. So because of that, I ask you all to give a really, really warm welcome to our very first affirmative speaker.
Good afternoon, honorable judge and esteemed members of the opposition. Entanglement means relationships, and humans cannot live without relationships. Entanglements give us friendship, and entanglement means that we could understand each other by relationships. Therefore, we, the affirmative team, propose that a more entangled world would mean a more peaceful world. Now, with pleasure, I will talk about our team's points. As first speaker, I will talk about entanglement means more relationships. Our second speaker will talk about that entanglement would lead to the stop of wars and conflicts. Now, to open with my argument, our team would like to bring to your attention that entanglement means more relationships. Well, let's think about it. If there are no entanglements, it means no friends, it means no family, it means no understanding between people, it means no business, it means no political traits or political relationships. If you're not entangled, you just cannot know each other because you cannot communicate with each other. And if you have more entanglements, it means more relationships, right? That means more friends. That means more happiness. And if you have more friends and more allies, that will lead to peace, and that will lead to happiness between everyone. Also, at school, we do teamwork. And even the most clever people have to get entangled. They have to know each other, and they have to get into relationships to learn from each other and to think of something very big and which will lead to the peace. For example, there was a plague in Europe. So scientists entangled up together. They worked with each other. And so look at now. There are almost no people who get the plague, right? This clearly illustrates that entanglement between everyone would lead to more great inventions which will help the peace of the world. Need I say more? Honorable judge and fellow debaters, our team strongly believes that a more entangled world will lead to a more peaceful world. Thank you.
Okay, that's all the video from the first speaker from our affirmative team and the opening of the debate. And I already make it in my PowerPoint, and we can see here how I can analyze the video. First, the first speaker of affirmative team gives some intent together by giving definition of the motion. So here he gives definition of entanglement. That means relationship and human cannot live without relationship, or we can say it a friendship. So entanglement as friendship or whole as a relationship. And then he gives and the speakers say that the claim here and the end after he gives definition of his motion, then he gives some claim that he agree with the motion, and he by saying the affirmative team propose that a more entangled world will mean a more peaceful world. So he agree with the motion. And then after give the claim, the speaker give the timeline or how the group can have own work. So she as the first speaker will talk about entanglement means more relationship, and the second speaker will talk about entanglement would lead to stop the wars and conflict. So we can see here we will face with two arguments in this debate from affirmative team. The first one is entanglement means more relationship, and entanglement would lead to stop of wars and conflict. So let's see the first argument. So the first argument from the first speaker of affirmative group. The argument is entanglement means more relationships. So here he gives some reasoning why he gives that opinion. Oh, sorry, give that argument. So he gives some explanation. We can see here. This is the transcript of the debate. But I conclude that from this explanation, we can see that the speaker implies that how when we have a good relationship with others, we have more entanglement, it can make relationship better, and we have a friendship, and then we can have some happiness in our life. Also a lot of friends. That the reasoning come from the speaker, and he gives the evidence to support his argument here, and the evidence is such as an example, the kind of example. So the example he give here is how Europe people, so how Europe people live together with entanglement, and they how can live in peaceful and they can help the world to be peace. So I think he has sorry, she has a good argument, but yeah, but I think she can find another example where entanglement is applied in this world to make it stronger. Okay. Okay, that's all about the first speaker of affirmative team. Now we come to the first speaker of opposition teams. Let's enjoy the video.
Affirmative speaker number 1. We'll allow 1 minute, and then the first speaker from the negative team will begin. All right, that is 1 minute. Everyone, please give a warm round of applause to our first negative speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, the problem with the affirmative side is that their points are based off the idealistic view that relationships are perfect, that people don't have different opinions, and that everyone will get along just fine. But this isn't the case. You see, when people gather together and there are more entanglement and more relationships, people have more different opinions, and so that will result in conflict, obviously. And so we think that their points are very idealistic and based off of an unrealistic world, and so their points do not stand. Now, moving on to my points. Entangled means interconnected, and everyone is intertwined. So more different opinions, and that results in more conflict. And peaceful means no conflict and no war. So for us to win this debate, we only need to prove that an entangled world will result in more conflict, which will be our central point. So when people have different opinions, it is very hard to get along with each other because people think that their opinions are right, and that's what makes them their opinion. And so the closer you are to people, the more conflict there will be. For example, if there are some people in a party and some people hate pineapple on pizza, but some people love pineapple on pizza, that will result in more conflict. Then why don't you just have two separate parties so that everyone will be happy and there will be no conflict, there will be no useless fighting? Another example is borders. We have borders around countries because different people have different interests. And when we don't have borders, it will result in war. And so it will result in more conflict. And so what we are saying is that an entangled world is not a more peaceful world because people only think of themselves. People are selfish creatures, and therefore more opinions will result in more conflict. Thank you.
Okay, this is all the video of first speaker of opposition team. Let's analyze it. So at the beginning of his speech, the first speaker of affirmative opposition team gives some rebuttal to the first speaker of affirmative team, because she thought that the first speaker of affirmative team is so idealistic, so they have some idealistic views that relationship are perfect, that people don't have different opinion, and that everyone will get along just fine. But isn't the case. You see, when people gather together and there are more entanglement and more relationship. So it's like the first speaker of affirmative team is like idealistic and thinks that when someone can have a good relationship with someone, others can have a good relationship also. But actually, that's not how we can see in the real environment. So that's why the first speaker of affirmative team told that the first speaker of affirmative team is idealistic. And then after give some rebuttal, the first speaker of opposition team gives some rejection to the definition that already given by a first speaker of affirmative team, because he thought that that's really idealistic, and the real meaning of the motion is the first one, entangled, mean interconnected, and enter everyone in intertwine, so different opinion, more different opinion, and that result in more conflict. And peaceful mean no conflict. This debate depends on the definition that given by that are already given by the first speaker of opposition team. Okay, now we see the first argument by the first speaker of opposition team. The argument that is already given by the first speaker of opposition team is, when we have different opinion, it is very hard to get along with each other. So yeah, because he reject this motion and do not agree that entangled can make the word peaceful, he gives some reasoning, because he thought that everyone have different meaning, and everyone think that their minds is better than others, is right than others. So it's really hard to make people have the same opinion or have same thing, and it can cause some conflict. That's why the reasoning of his argument. And to support his argument, he gives some example. Actually, it's two example. The first one is such as is like example. No, sorry, evidence is like example. So the example is like the real life example in real life. So the first one she give the example. Some people hate pineapple on pizza, but some people love pineapple on pizza. That will result more conflict. So this example is in real life. When someone orders some pizza and the friend do not like to have a pineapple in their pizza, but others but others love to have a pineapple in their pizza, it can cause conflict to them. And yeah, that's really interesting, right? Now we can the second evidence from the second the first speaker of opposition team. So it's this almost the same example before, but it is about borders. So we have borders in the world. So every country, every area in this world have a border. So how they can live peaceful by having borders, and there's no conflict. So we do not need to make some entanglement to build world be peaceful, but we just need some borders to make world better, or some regulation in this world. That's why he believe that everyone have different opinion, so we cannot push them to be entangled, so we can have a peaceful world, but we must have another way to make the world peaceful. Okay. Speech, he gives some conclusion. So he thought that entangled cannot make the world be peaceful, because there are a lot of people and they always have one opinion, and human is really selfish. Yeah, human really selfish. It's really hard to apply entanglement in this world, and it can cause some conflict. Okay, that's all the first speaker and the second speaker of affirmative and opposition team. Now we come to the second speaker of affirmative team. Let's see what they're talking about.
Thank you very much, negative team. 1 minute until the affirmative team begins. All right, and now can we have the second speaker from the affirmative team?
We are one world. We are one planet. And that is because we are already connected. We are already entangled. Good afternoon. I am Saisha Swani from Class 8, Strawberry Fields High School, Chandigarh, India. And I am going to debate on the topic that a more entangled world is a more peaceful world. And I totally agree with it. When we are entangled, we understand one another. Imagine countries having good relationships. Each and every country in the world having a good relationship with another. There would be an understanding between different countries. This would lead to peace in the world. There would be no more wars in the world because everybody understands each other. Everybody can listen to one another, and everybody can have their own perspectives, and everybody, in the end, is one. In the early ages, man used to fight for food. They used to fight for water. They used to fight for basic necessities. But now, we are connected. If we get more entangled and connected, then we can benefit from one another. We can all be one, and we can benefit as a whole. Cultures would be exchanged when we are connected. Social media plays a huge role for us to be connected. So, when cultures be exchanged, there is more peace. Because nowadays, the wars that happen are based on religion. And I don't think that being one world, we should be divided. I say that we should be more entangled so that we can live a more happier and peaceful world. Thank you.
Okay, so here at the beginning of his speech, the second speaker of affirmative team, do not give some rebuttal to the first speaker of opposition team, but actually the good speaker or good debater in debate must give some rebuttal to the previous speaker, so that can stronger their opinion. But actually, there is no rebuttal from the second speaker of affirmative team. But here, she gives her opinion. Oh no, sorry. Her argument. Her argument is entanglement would lead to the stop of wars and conflict. So she concerned with how entanglement can stop wars and conflict. Let's see how she built her argument. So here she did not have real evidence, so it's really weak argument, but she has a reasoning. So uh she told that every country already have a good relationship, so like uh some work together in economic politics. So she told that by having a good relationship, it can um help us to reach how to apply entanglement in this world, and we can have a better life. So she just gives some here imagination, ask the audience to imagine how the worlds when we have a world that everything's work together, help each other, no fight for food and water. So she just think about how the imagine how world if we have a entanglement. So, and there's no evidence. Yeah, it's really weak evidence argument. Argument. Yeah, that's all from the second speaker of affirmative team. So we can say that she is lack of evidence. And actually, she should have evidence. Whatever I think she can find how the examples such as or the evidence such as how a country work together with another country and they have live in peacefully together. I think that's better for to give some evidence to her argument and it can be stronger. Okay, now we move to the second speaker of opposition team. Let's enjoy this video.
Thank you very much, affirmative team. Negative team, you have 1 minute. All right, and 1 minute has elapsed. Please welcome back the negative team.
Good afternoon, honorable adjudicators, worthy opponents, and fellow teammates. My name is Anya, and I'm the second speaker of the negative team today, and we are arguing the motion that a more entangled world is a more peaceful world. However, me and my team strongly disagree with this statement. Firstly, I would like to start with a few rebuttals against our affirmative team. They said that that more countries being entangled would lead to more peace, as they would all agree and find peaceful solutions. However, as the first speaker of my team already stated, the affirmative team is looking at a more idealistic world. We do not live in that kind of world. We live where opinions exist, where conflicts will arise. And even if we are more entangled, that does not mean we will all become one. That will mean several countries will share an opinion and several will share another. And there will be conflict between the two groups. For example, let's take Mexico and the US. They are close to each other, but they don't exactly have the best relations, do they? They share proximity, and you could say that they are quite entangled, but they do not have a good relationship. Now, I would like to move on to my main points. When we are less entangled, we can create peace within ourselves. The first step to finding peace is finding peace within yourself. And you can't do that if you are always bearing the burden of other people. We should have our time to better ourselves, to make ourselves more peaceful, and that way the whole world would benefit. My second point is an economic one. Some currencies are dependent to each other. And if one currency starts inflating or deflating, then the other currency will too. This is a perfect example of entanglement between currencies. And this devaluation of currency leads to so much chaos and conflict within different governments and even people within different countries. That does not make our world more peaceful, does it? The third speaker of our negative team will present more points and fully convince you that this motion should fall. Thank you.
Okay, that's all the video from the second speaker of opposition team. Okay, yes, she gives some interesting argument. So let's see how it works. Okay, so at the beginning of her speech, he gives some rebuttal to the second speaker of affirmative team. So she thought that it's almost the same with the rebuttal from his first speaker from opposition team. They thought that the affirmative teams are really idealistic, and actually, entangled does not mean we will become one, and will mean several countries will share an opinion and several will share for others. And to support his rebuttal here, she gives some evidence such as Mexico and US. This country do not actually this is really close country, really close in geographics. But they exactly do not have a good relationship. That's the example. So she gives rebuttal that not all countries even though that countries is really close in the position, but that country can have some problem, do not work together or not good, have a good relationship. That's the evidence given by the second speaker of opposition team. And after give some rebuttal, the second speaker of opposition team give argument. Her argument is, when we are less entangled, we can create peace without ourselves. So here, she thought that we can create peaceful in this world without entanglement. And reasoning here is an economic one currencies. Some currencies are depend to each other, and if one currency starts inflection or deflection, then are the other's currency will. So this is about economic, how economic can have good economic in this world, so we can make the world peaceful without anything led by using but through economic. And the evidence here is um, entanglement between currencies, and this is devaluation of currencies leads to so much cost and conflict within different government, and even people within different countries that do not make our world more peaceful. So this is the evidence of your argumentation, but actually I think this is not related with her argument here. And her reasoning here, she talk about we can make peaceful words without a tinglet, and she talk about economic here, and then just she talk about uh, how government and conflict in any country. So I don't think that the second speaker of opposition team have a good argument and evidence, and it's not coherence. Okay. Okay, that's all from the second speaker of opposition team. Now we move to the third speaker of affirmative teams. Let's enjoy this video.
Thank you very much, negative team. Affirmative team, you have 1 minute. All right, and that has been 1 minute. Please welcome the affirmative team once again.
Honorable adjudicator, respected opposition, fellow teammates, and audience, I am Stav Schulman from GEMS World Academy, Switzerland. My teammates and I strongly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that a more entangled world is a more peaceful world. As the third speaker of the affirmative, I will rebut some major clashes stated by the opposition and elaborate my team's points. I will additionally discuss about our friendships and the lack of entanglements. Without further waiting, let's start with the rebuttals. The first speaker of the opposing team stated that when we entangle, we realize that we have different opinions, thus ending in conflict or war. However, let's think about this. We all here in this room have different experiences. We have different memories. We have different viewpoints. But if we entangle, even if we disagree, we would have more opportunity to understand those different viewpoints. We would have the opportunity to share those different memories. We would have the opportunity to entangle and respect the other viewpoints of people that we might disagree with. And by entangling, we would find more things that are in common. So, why shouldn't we entangle to relate? Let's move on. The second speaker of the opposing team argued that Mexico and the US have proximity, but don't have the perfect relationship. But this claim is simply incorrect. The US and Mexico are not entangled. They are not entangled, not by culture. They're separated by borders. Their presidents are not friends. They're not entangled. Thus, proving the other team incorrect. Now let's move on to my elaboration. The first speaker on my team, S.Pd, rightfully stated that entanglements mean more friendships, family, business. In addition to this, let's think about what this would mean. Aristotle once said, we communicate with those we are alike. We communicate with those we can relate. This is only true because we can relate if we entangle. If we can entangle, we can relate, we can make peace with each other. The second speaker on my team, Saisha, added that in the early days, without the internet, without fast transportation, groups of early humans, without being entangled, they fought without empathy or peace for food or water. To elaborate on that, let's explore another idea. Before the World War II, Jews were locked inside ghettos, where they were not entangled with the outside world. They were locked, unfortunately. And the Germans thus didn't share many experiences and didn't entangle as much. They didn't have a lot of communication because they feared each other. And we all know what happened next. We all know what happened in World War II. And this only proves that entanglements actually make us avoid war. In conclusion, entanglements unite us. And without them, we would only live alone in the dark. And that's why this motion should stand. Thank you.
Okay, that's the video of the third speaker of affirmative team. Let's analyze it together with me. Okay, so at the beginning of her speech, the debater give rebuttal to the first speaker of opposition team. So she told that when we entangle, we realize that we have different opposition to ending in conflict or war. So she talked about how entangled can reduce or make our world do not have some conflict anymore, or especially war. So that's the rebuttal from the second speaker of affirmative team. The third speaker of affirmative team. So that's the rebuttal from the third speaker of affirmative team, and that's the first rebuttal. Actually, she had two rebuttal here. The second rebuttal is she told to the second speaker of for opposition team, because the second speaker talk about the relationship between U.S. and Mexico, and then already have a template, and that doesn't work. But she rebuttal it. Actually, U.S. and Mexico do not template, because there are actually some previous from previous president. They do not have some entanglement or some business or some work together, or some agreement to work together. So she rebutted that the argument from the second speaker of opposition team is weak and do not have, that's not real. Yeah. Okay. Now, after give some rebuttal to the first and second speaker of opposition team, she gives some elaboration for her first speaker from her team. So, because the first speaker of her team talk about entanglement means more friendship, family business, and she gives some evidence here is by using quote by Aristotle. We communicate with those we are alike. We communicate with those we can relate. So she interpret or give some definition about this quote. So this quote can be related and can be used if we entangle with forgetting, entangle. We can relate. We can make peace with each other. Okay. Then we come to the elaboration. After she gives some elaboration to the first speaker of her team, the third speaker give elaboration to her second speaker. So the second speaker give already talk about also talk about some how we can have interact with others. So here we talk they talk about using internet. She gives some evidence, some support support evidence that can by using internet. Also, we can say if there is no internet or transportation, it's really hard for human to entangle. So after we have internet and also transportation, it's really easy for us to entangle with others, and also we can have some peace in this world. Okay. That's the after she gives some rebuttal and then elaborate here teammates argument, and then she gives here one argument. Her argument is entanglements actually make us avoid war. So she will talk about war here, how by having entanglements we can avoid war. So she gives some reasoning here. She talk about World War II, the Second World War. So actually, if World War II already happens, but actually at the time we do not, we have entanglement. Actually, that will never happen. Okay. The evidence of this here argument is she talk about how communication can help Germans, and actually as the provocateur of Second World War, if they have some good communication with opposition teams, actually the Second World War will not happen. And I think the evidence is good, but she need to give. So it actually did a transcript. All of them is a transcript from the YouTube video, but actually she need to put some more evidence. Just not about talk about a Second World War, but actually there are a lot of war in the world, such as in Syria and then also in Palestine. That's really related to this nowadays. Okay, and at the end of her speech, she gives some conclusion. So she said that entangled units, and without them, we will only live alone in the dark, and that's why this motion should be stand. So he empower her, rebuild her claim. Okay, next we come to the third speaker of opposition teams. Let's see the video first.
Thank you very much, affirmative team. Negative team, you have 1 minute to prepare your rebuttal. All right, and 1 minute has elapsed. Everyone, please join me in welcoming back the negative team.
What happens to one person happens to everyone, and each person's existence affects those around him. Good morning, respected IGDK and fellow debaters and audience. Today, I stand here as the third speaker of the negative team, and we strongly believe that an entangled world will not result to a more peaceful world. First, I would like to address the points of the affirmative team. They've been going on and on about how everyone has different viewpoints and perspectives. Yes, we agree, but then they said that if everyone has different viewpoints and perspectives, and in an entangled world, people can work together, share these different opinions, and work out their differences. But we strongly believe that this is false, because human nature, humans don't easily respect other people's opinions easily, especially when they are different than theirs. For example, during the Sudetenland crisis, which leads to World War II, the Allied powers actually tried to work out their differences with Hitler. They actually tried to appease him by giving him the Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia. But at the end, it also failed, and it only resulted in World War II, a very huge world war. And thus, an entangled world will not result to a more peaceful world. The negative team, the affirmative team have also said how US and Mexico are not entangled. But first, I would like to point out that there are actually several economic agreements between them. And for example, one of them is the North American Free Trade Agreement. Now, to present my arguments, first, we believe that an entangled world will not result in a more peaceful world because everyone in this world is connected with each other. Each one of our emotions, behaviors, feelings, and actions will affect those around us. Our existence affects our friends, our family members, our teachers, and basically everyone in this environment. Everyone's behaviors will affect everyone and will create a chain reaction, a domino effect, which will create so many conflicts in this world. Just like the poem "No Man is an Island" says, everyone is connected. But then I would like to point out that when everyone is connected with each other, one person's conflicts will also cause other people to feel this conflict, to feel hurt, to feel uneasiness. For example, when you are angry, when you are furious, when you're mad, your bad actions, your bad mood, your anger will affect everyone around you, your friends, your family members. For example, when you're mad and you lash out at other people, such as your friends or your mother, you will also ruin your relationship with them. And with that, we strongly believe that an entangled world will not result in a more peaceful world. Thank you.
Okay, that's the video of the third speaker of opposition teams. Now we can let's analyze it with me. So at the beginning of her speech, the speaker gives some rebuttal to the affirmative team. She told that he talked about different opinion and work out their difference. So he actually so she talk about how human actually have a different opinion, and human nature is do not easily respect others. So human is really selfish. So when we interrogate people, they do not have some opinion, and also with their nature that do not respect each other, it can make entanglement will never make the world better. And the next one is the rebuttal. That's the first rebuttal, and this is the second rebuttal. The second rebuttal is she told that there are actually several economic agreements between USA and Mexico. So at the beginning, so after the second speaker of affirmative team told that there is no agreements between US and Mexico, but actually the opposition team found that there are some agreement from affirmative and from Mexican and US, and that's about economic agreement. And this agreement is about North American Free Trade Agreement. Now 2% of the argument. So that's the rebuttal from the affirmative team to empower her argument that the relationship between US and Mexico, where their entanglement did not work well until now. And then let's analyze how her argument. So after give some rebuttal, she gives some she gives an argument. Her argument is when everyone is connected with each other, one person's conflict will also resolve. So when we ask or push some people to connect with others, it can cause some, and it can cause a good relationship, but conflict will also the result. So the evidence. So she did not have a reasoning here. She just gives some evidence. So the evidence is she talk about, it's really we can usually find it in our daily life. She talk about person who are angry and they are furious will mate to everyone he met. So and the example here is she give that mothers who angry with their doctors, and then the doctors will also feel angry after get angry from her mother, and will angry to her friends. So that's the evidence from the third speaker of opposition team. But actually, I think this evidence is really weak. She talked about something that's, it is common happen, but she need to give some strong evidence, such as the case where a mother angry to her children, and then there are some that's cause some trouble, maybe some case, maybe that's will empower her argument. Okay, yeah, after first, second, and third, and now we come to the fourth speaker of affirmative team. Okay, let's see the video first.
Thank you very much, negative team. Affirmative team, you have 1 minute to prepare your rebuttal. All right, and 1 minute has elapsed. Everyone, please welcome me in joining the final speaker of the affirmative team.
Good afternoon, honorable panelists, the wonderful opposing team, and my fellow team members. I am Michelangelo from Pristine Private School, UAE, and I am the fourth speaker of today's affirmative team debate. And I am following the motion that the more entangled world is a more peaceful world. Me and my team strongly believe that if our world, aka planet Earth, is more entangled, then the world would benefit. The United Nations would benefit because the world is peaceful now because of that organization. Now let's rewind to the past. If the tribes themselves were entangled, then there would be no World War I or World War II. Now let's rewind back to the present. This World Scholars Cup 2018. If our beloved alpaca in chief Daniel didn't have such a big entanglement with alpacas, then we might not have a mascot. We might not have these cute bears to cuddle up. Like my first speaker had said, USA and Mexico are not entangled, and that is why they are feuding. And so then imagine if USA and Mexico were entangled. They might even create a new country to show their entanglement. Now, like my second speaker had said, we are one world, one planet. We have survived like this because we were entangled, we were connected, and we worked together as a team. Now to conclude it all, we believe that if you aren't entangled, then you might as well live in the dark. Lastly, a more entangled world is a more peaceful world. Thank you.
Okay, there's all the video of the fourth speaker of affirmative team. Really interesting, right? Okay, let's analyze it with me. Actually, the word of fourth speaker of each group just need to give some rebuttal and empower their team's argument. And actually here, the fourth speaker from affirmative group just do not give some rebuttal to the others, to the opposition team, but she just give to just empower her team arguments. So here she talk again about USA and Mexico. So after affirmative team, opposition team told that there are some economic agreement between Mexico and USA, but this group talk about it. Actually, there is no agreement between them. So it's like they both talking about USA and Mexico's agreement, and they do not have strong evidence. So the affirmative team told that they have a good relationship, but opposition team they do not have think that they do not have good relationship. So they do not have real evidence about USA and Mexico, so they cannot talk anymore. And I think that they need to find the real evidence how the condition of USA and Mexico. Okay, and then she empower about the second here argument from the second speaker about that our planet or our this world we need to integrate it, or we need to connect it because we believe that if we aren't integrated, in our world. We will live in dark lessly, a more entangled with a more peaceful world. So she told about if we do not have some entangled in this world, we will have a dark world. Yeah, that's her empower how she empower her this argument from her second speaker. Okay, yeah, it's like affirmative team empower about their argument, but they still have lack of evidence. But before we decide whether the good or bad team, let we choose which group. Let we see the last argument from the opposition team. So here the video.
Thank you very much, affirmative team. Negative team, you have 1 minute to prepare your rebuttal. All right, 1 minute has elapsed. Can everyone please welcome me in joining the very last speaker of the Junior Debate Showcase in Barcelona?
May I start? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anderson Domingos from Maputo International School, Mozambique. I'm on the negative side, that the more entanglement the world is a more peaceful world. I would like to start my speech with a rebuttal to the first speaker. She said that when we have entanglements, when we have groups, right? But though, in those groups, don't we have fights? Don't we have conflicts with the people we work with? For the second speaker, she said that when we have entanglements, we will lose culture. But isn't what the culture that makes us who we are, the people who we are today? Aren't we all here to represent our country, our culture? The third speaker, she rebutted on my second speaker on how the USA and the Mexico are not connected. The Second World War, Russia and the United States fought for one. And do you see them together? They're having conflicts with each other. They fought as one. They were entangled, but that doesn't mean that they are together. That doesn't mean we're perfect. My speakers spoke how an entangled world doesn't mean it's perfect. We live in a real world, a world of illusions, a world that nothing is perfect. On with my first point. The Treaty of Versailles, it made sure that everybody was in peace. Everybody wanted to have peace. Italy and Germany fought against the others. But did you see, Italy backed off on their deal, leaving Germany to suffer for everything. And they were supposed to be entangled. The third speaker, didn't everybody see here when on the opening ceremony when Daniel had conflicts with their partner over pineapple pizza? Everybody has conflicts and they're entangled. And my team here have been speaking, telling you on how entangled world isn't perfect, how everybody will have conflicts. We will have friendships and entangled world, but when we hurt each other, by doing good to the other, we will be hurting others. And is that what you want, to hurt other people? And we will lose our close friendships. We will have many friends, but what will happen to our real friends, the ones that stayed with us through everything? The third speaker mentioned how they used to fight for food and survival. But did you know that as soon as they would kick out people from their tribes, they would send them away to other places? Would you send your family, your friends, and everybody you love that you're entangled to somewhere far away? How do you expect to keep everything? And to conclude, we, the negative team, strongly believe that an entangled world is not a peaceful world, because a peaceful world does not exist. Thank you.
Okay, that's all the video from the fourth speaker of opposition team. Let's analyze her argument with me. So yeah, as the same with the second speaker, the fourth speaker from affirmative team, the fourth speaker of opposition team also gives some empower to her argument from her group. So she talked about how in Tango world isn't perfect, how everybody will have compace, we will have friendship and integral, but we have but we do not but we will it hurt each other. By doing good to the others, we'll be hurting others, and it is that what you want to hurt others people, and we will lose our close friends. So Tenglet do not mean we can have a good relationship all the time with our friends. We may hurt them sometimes. That's the empower from the fourth speaker of opposition teams. And yeah, that's the end of the speech from the fourth speaker of opposition teams. But I think that both of groups have lack of evidence. Yeah, they have a good argument, also support by reasoning, but actually they lack of evidence and they confused about the relationship between Mexico and US. They do not have a real the true evidence about them both. And but here, after compare the evidence and reasoning argument from affirmative and opposition group, I think affirmative group is better than opposition group. So because they give more evidence rather than opposition team that give evidence that's really common in our life, that's weak evidence and not can acceptable, and that's the evidence not acceptable, such as how parents angry to children, how mother angry to her daughter, how friends fighting for just some toppings for their pizza. That's really weak evidence, I think. But when affirmative team bring some controversial issues such as US and Mexico and then World War, that's really interesting and related to this topic to make the world be peaceful by Tenglet. So yeah, once again, I think affirmative group is better than negative group, and they have good argument, evidence, and also reasoning. That's all from me. Thanks for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.